Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gentle Dog Trainers channel. I'm your host Olivia De Santos, and today and over the next video we'll be talking about raw dog food. A raw dog food diet can come with some benefits and some risks. So in this video we're going to be talking about those benefits and risks and why I personally will not be feeding my dogs raw dog food. And in the next video, we'll be talking through a recipe for raw dog food if you choose to feed your dog raw food. Before we begin, I do encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you want to raise happy, healthy, and well-behaved dogs. And without further ado, let's talk about raw dog food diets. Before we dive in fully into this video, I just want to note that I am not a vet, and it's really important that you consult your vet before you attempt to transition your dog onto any diet. Your vet will know what's best for your specific dog depending on their age, their breed, their activity levels, and everything else. So please, please, please do consult your vet before you take any of the advice that is in this video. So the first question you may have is a raw dog food diet even viable for dogs? Is it healthy for them, and is it possible for an adult dog to live a happy and healthy life on raw dog food? The truth is kind of nuanced. It's quite a controversial topic, particularly in the veterinary space. Many people debate about what a raw dog food diet should include. Are dogs really carnivores or are they omnivores? The truth is somewhere in the middle. They've kind of been domesticated to be slight omnivores, but in the wilds they were definitely pure carnivores. And now that they are domesticated to be omnivore light, how does that translate when it comes to making raw dog food? Another reason why this is controversial is that there's not a whole lot of science behind it. Most of the accounts of raw dog food and the efficacy of that type of diet comes from just word of mouth. Many dog owners choose to give their dogs raw dog food, and they have reported a slew of benefits. So let's talk about those benefits first. Number one is that raw dog food is seen to be a higher quality. This is because you know exactly what is going into the food, because often you are preparing it yourself, or if you are choosing a commercial raw dog food option, then it will have a very transparent ingredients list, and you'll be able to see exactly what is going into the food and how high quality that meat really is. The second benefit is that many people who feed their dogs raw dog food find that they have a better overall health. This includes having a shinier coat, healthier teeth, and higher energy levels than they did before. Again, this is generally debatable. There isn't a lot of science to say that a raw dog food diet will give your dog more energy and a shinier coat. It is on personal experiences alone, but there is something to the oral health side of things. When it comes to chewing bones, for example, it's shown to strengthen your dog's teeth and give them a good dose of calcium. It can also help to clean your teeth as they're eating the bones. But we could also say that about dry dog food. So when it comes to oral health in particular, it's kind of on par. The third benefit to a raw dog food diet is that, in inverted commas, it's natural. Many people like to give their dogs raw food because they believe that this is how they were meant to be, and this is a return to the carnivore life that they used to live all those millennia ago. Now, this is highly debatable. As we say, not everything natural is good for your dog or for you, so you'll have to take this one with a grain of salt. Now let's talk about the risks associated with a raw dog food diet. First of all, there is a really high risk that a dog will not get their full nutritional content if you're not making the correct recipes. And this is very debatable as to what recipe works best. There are certain percentages that you can follow, which we'll talk about in the next video when we actually make a homemade raw dog food meal. But that balance really depends on your dog's age, their activity levels, their breed, and their special health conditions. There are lots of things that go into dog nutrition that can be difficult to work out on your own. And if your dog is not getting the full nutritional content that they need, then it can cause all sorts of problems, particularly if your dog is young. This is why raw dog food diets are not recommended for puppies at all, because puppies need a different type of nutritional content than adult dogs do. And if you make any sort of mistakes with their nutritional content as they are growing up, it's really difficult to correct later on in life. We've done an entire video on whether puppies can eat adult dog food, so I'll link it in the iCard up there. And that will help you to understand why puppies have specifically formulated food just for them. Another risk when it comes to a raw dog food diet is the risk of disease. Raw meats can contain E. coli and salmonella, and although dogs have a much higher tolerance for these bacteriums, they can cause quite a lot of illness. This is why raw dog food diets are not recommended at all for female dogs who are lactating, as it can really affect them and it can affect their puppies. Another con when it comes to a raw dog food diet is that it's not particularly advised for dogs with specific health conditions. If your dog has kidney failure or liver failure, then a high protein diet, which is what most raw dog food diets are, is very dangerous for them. It can put a lot of undue strain on their liver and their kidneys to keep up with, and ultimately cause more harm than good. If your dog has cancer or is at risk of cancer, you can also find that raw dog food diets are not recommended for them, and this is because of the risk of infection. Finally, another con, not so much a risk, but a con of the raw dog food diet is convenience. It's definitely much harder to make your own dog food at home. And while we'll be doing a video on how to make a raw dog food diet and a video on how to make homemade dog food that isn't raw, of course, you accept this at your own risk and you accept this at your own inconvenience. You definitely have to purchase more, you definitely have to do more research, you definitely need to do a little bit more work in order to make dog food at home. Next, let's talk about how to transition. So let's say that you've spoken to your vet and you like the sound of raw dog food as opposed to dry or canned dog food. How can you transition your dog from eating commercial food to eating raw food? Well, it's a slow process, as in transitioning any type of diet. You need to start by mixing raw food in with your dog's commercial food. The tricky part of this is balancing the caloric intake, because if you just add a full raw dog food meal on top of your dog's dry food, then either they won't eat it all because it's way too much, but also they are getting way more of their caloric intake than they should be getting. This is something that you really need to pay attention to as you slowly increase the ratio of raw dog food to their old dry dog food. Finally, why am I not going to feed my dogs any raw dog food? The reason is that my dogs have previous health conditions. So Blue has some issues with her kidneys and Pip has had a cancerous tumour. And as I've said before, these two things are huge red flags when it comes to raw dog food diets. I also don't want to upset their stomach and transition them onto a different type of diet when they are at the age that they're at. As I said, they are 11 and 13 respectively. They are old dogs and they have some health conditions that we are keeping an eye on. So for these reasons, it's not the best to transition them off of the food that they are used to at this time. But this is my personal decision. I'd love to know in the comments what you think about raw dog food diets and whether you might consider it for your dog. In the next video, we'll be talking about how to make raw dog food. So subscribe to the Gentle Dog Trainers channel so that you don't miss that one, and I will see you there. Take care. Bye bye.